he doesn't fight the one way that he can only fight to win it, Terence Crawford has 6 ways he can win it.
Roy Jones Jr. gives his thoughts on the upcoming fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Bud Crawford.
I need y'all to get the likes up, man. Get the likes up.
And something that I kind of spoke about amongst the many videos in regards to this fight is that the ways to win. Terence Crawford definitely has more ways to win this fight. Canelo Alvarez, for weeks I've been looking for ways for him to win, and it's really hard to say because Terence Crawford is such a versatile, dynamic fighter. It's hard to say which way Canelo Alvarez should go in regards to this fight. And when I see Canelo Alvarez, I don't see a confident Canelo Alvarez like I'm used to seeing. I'm seeing a guy who may be a little confused, who may be a little worried about what's to come because, well, Terence Bud Crawford is a puzzle that hasn't been figured out. But check out what the great Roy Jones had to say.
I will say this. If Canelo fights the absolute correct fight that he can fight, the only correct fight that he can fight, he does have a chance, and I think he could be victorious. If he doesn't, if he doesn't fight the one way that he can only fight to win it, Terence Crawford has 6 ways he can win it. And my money will go on the man who has 6 ways to win it over the man who has one way of winning it.
So you think Canelo has to kind of fight the perfect fight, right?
If he don't, he in trouble. If he does, he should be all good.
Now, to hear what Roy Jones had to say, Canelo Alvarez has to fight. Canelo Alvarez has to fight the perfect fight, and if he don't, it's a wrap. And I agree with that. That makes a lot of sense when we look at the styles and what both guys bring to the ring. Canelo Alvarez is a fighter who has bad wheels, bad footwork, right? He don't have the fastest feet. It's going to be hard for him to keep up with Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford employs the more fleet-footed approach to this fight. There's different ways that Terence Bud Crawford could approach this fight, but there's only one way that Canelo Alvarez could approach this fight, and he has to be perfect throughout the fight. And that's going to be extremely hard to do against a boxing genius like Terence Bud Crawford, who's a fighter who makes adjustments and he adapts as the fight goes. Canelo Alvarez is going to have to probably do something a little different in this fight, but I'm not quite sure what approach that will be. Roy Jones said he only has one perfect way to win this fight. And just thinking about it, to me, it really is determining if Terence Crawford can't deal with the weight difference. If he can't deal with the weight difference, if he has stamina issues or anything like that, then Canelo Alvarez has a good chance. But if the weight isn't a factor for Terence Bud Crawford, this could be a very, very long night for Saul Canelo Alvarez. But he said Bud Crawford has 6 ways to win. 6 ways to win. He can win that by decision. He can win by stoppage. I mean, there's a lot of different things that Terence Bud Crawford do in fights, right? He's an active body puncher. He's a really good jabber. I mean, Terence Bud Crawford is very consistent when we talking a fighter who does a little bit of everything, right? You got some guys who just really just stick out jabs most of the time. You got some dudes who only got one right hand. You know what I'm saying? You got your one arm bandits. You got your jab friendly guys. Guys who's jab heavy. You got your hookers. You got your guys who has their way of doing things. But then Terence Bud Crawford is a guy who does a little bit of everything. And honestly, these 6 ways, I could definitely see Crawford having 6 ways to win the fight because he has so many tools. So many tools that I don't even think we've seen them all, right? Will he be able to, or would he need to, pull out all these tools against Canelo Alvarez, right? Will he be able to, or will he need to bring out all the tools to beat Canelo Alvarez this upcoming Saturday? I honestly don't really think so. I think Canelo Alvarez is going to have a lot of respect for Bud. I think he's going to be worried about the southpaw stance. There may be something in camp with Jerome Boots Ennis that it may be something in camp that Canelo Alvarez probably noticed that he had a trouble getting around, and it's probably something that a fighter like Terence Bud Crawford could also exploit. It's probably something in Terence Bud Crawford's game, because John Boots Ennis is kind of a versatile, dynamic fighter as well. So it's probably something in Terence Bud Crawford's game that may have Canelo Alvarez a little worried in this fight. We don't know exactly what this is, but something telling me that Canelo Alvarez is a little worried about what's going to happen Saturday night. Because, we just don't know. Terence Bud Crawford literally jumps every hurdle put in front of him, right? As far as even the opponents in the ring, when we talking narratives, false narratives, guys said his shoulder was hurt. He said, my shoulder's just fine. Or guys said he was fat. Oh, look, man, look at me. I got this 8-pack over here. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he on the wrong side of the street. Well, he crossed the street. You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, he needs to fight Sean Porter. Well, he fought Sean Porter. So Bud Crawford kind of jumps every hurdle kind of put in front of him. And, he jumped every hurdle, leading all the way up to this particular moment, heading into this fight with Canelo Alvarez. But the great Roy Jones, man, said that Canelo Alvarez has to fight the perfect fight. And I think I would agree. And that's kind of almost, it's almost kind of crazy to say that, because Canelo Alvarez is supposed to be the favorite. Canelo Alvarez is also regarded as one of the best fighters of his generation. Canelo Alvarez is also a great fighter in his own right. And Canelo Alvarez is also the bigger guy. So it's kind of like crazy that he still has to fight the perfect fight in order to beat Terence Bud Crawford. Do Canelo have to fight the perfect fight? I think so. Because Canelo Alvarez, when we watching him, his jab, where's his jab? How's he going to set up the shots to land a shot on a guy like Terence Crawford? That jab, straight right hand, that's not going to work on Bud. And if you do it once, you ain't going to be able to do it again. So what you going to do, right? You launch that hard left hook he likes to throw. Canelo winds up pretty wide to throw them left hooks, right? Terence Crawford going to see that coming. What you go do, right? He loads up on the big right hand. Canelo loads up a lot on his shots these days, right? Everything is full power and a lot of force. And I don't necessarily know if that's the good approach, the right way to deal with Terence Bud Crawford. It's really hard to say. Because as I'm even freestyling this video, I'm trying to think of a way that Canelo Alvarez can beat Bud. And it's hard because Terence Crawford is a fighter who always make adjustments. So he always got to keep that in mind. And Canelo Alvarez is a fighter who, he's not putting out like he once was. He's not throwing as many punches as he was, right? Canelo Alvarez was a pretty, he threw punches. He was a pretty active puncher, right, over the years, but that's slowed down quite a bit when we see him today. It slowed down quite a bit to the point where he's almost throwing 1 or 2 shots at a time, mostly one, right? And usually his left hand now is just to kind of hold the guy still so he can land that right hand. So Canelo Alvarez, man, this is, in my opinion, I think this is, like I told you guys, I think this is a tougher fight for Canelo than it is for Terence Crawford. If the weight isn't a factor, right? If the size, quote unquote, isn't a factor for this thing, this is a tougher fight for Canelo than it is for Bud, stylistically. Very, very tough matchup. But it's an interesting take that Roy Jones said Crawford has 6 ways to win, and Canelo Alvarez has only 1. And he absolutely has to fight the perfect fight that night. Do Canelo Alvarez have to fight the perfect fight against Terence Bud Crawford to get the victory? And do Terence Bud Crawford have 6 ways to win against Canelo Alvarez? Tell me what you guys think. Like, subscribe, holla at your boy. Peace out.